Hello everyone and welcome back to Web and Apps with Edith. Today I'll be showing you a small practical demo of how to create a page in Android Studio with a text view, an edit text box, a button, and I'm gonna use a spinner as well. And your date picker and your time picker should be working together. So this is a demonstration of using an edit text box, text view, button, spinner, date picker and time picker. Few input controls in Android Studio. So let's get started. Currently my system is not that much upgraded. So I am using Dolphin version of Android and I am using JDK 17 for my system. Because of some issues, my system is not upgraded to that point and a space issue is also there. So I'm going ahead with Dolphin as a version of Android Studio and JDK 17. In my Gradle script, there's a build.gradle file called as module. Inside this module.app name, I am having a section called as compile SDK and target SDK. This is initially 32. I am changing it to 34 for the compatibility version. And then I just need to sync it. So currently my system is synced and it's all set for its running version. I am using an external device called Knox so that I can view my data very much clear and concise. This is the tabbed version of it. You can get the mobile version as well. So I'm using Knox as an external device to run my Android practicals out over there. So I don't need a constrained layout. I need a relative layout. So I need to work with relative layout. So I'll just delete this section, write R, and you can see a relative layout option is available. I select on relative layout and you can see the closing has been done with the relative layout. The next thing is I need to add a text view. So the text view has already been given. By default, one text view comes with any of the project that you start in Android. So I am using Java base and I am using the API 4.4. That's the KitKat versions for mine. So here I am given wrap content. Text is written as hello world. Currently I want it to be written as enter your name. So I will change my text to enter your name and that will be highlighted on my data over here. And you can see something has been come up over here. Then I don't need these constraints. So I will be just removing that out from here. Okay, so my text box is done. Now if I want it to match to my entire thing, so I'll just make my width as match parent. Now match parent and wrap content. Wrap content does the work of taking the content of your data to the text length that you have given. So if I have given enter your name, it will be of that much length only. Since I have given match parent, you can see it is taking the entire width of my page. So my text view is set right now. I need to just give one ID. It's a good habit or a good practice to always give an ID to your data, whatever you are putting it. So I just give it as txt1. This is the name of my text view. Now I need to have an edit text box. I can go to my palette and I can drag and drop to, but I feel comfortable, when you write it, it gives you a prompt faster and you can do things faster. So I feel comfortable using the prompt and doing my content. So this is my edit text box that has come up on my screen. So you can see this my edit text and my text view are overlapping with each other. So I just need to give Android layout below and below what you want to put. I want to put it below the txt1 that I have placed. So txt1. So now you can see it has moved down the space for the same. Now I need to give an ID for the same as well. So I will just give Android ID and it's gonna take it as 81. So this is my edit text that has come up. So my edit text is ready. My text view is ready. So layout below does the work of placing my edit text box below the text view that I have placed. So that is why it is given as below. Now I need to add a spinner. So I will write spinner. So spinner will come up. So I just need to give wrap content for the spinner too. And it's a wrap content. And I can do the closing. I can give an ID to my spinner too. I have given my ID. My spinners is ready. And now I need a button. Just place a button. This is my button, and I want my button also to be a wrap content, or I can make the width as match parent. So it is match parent. I'll just close my button. I can just give an ID, and I give anything btn1. Right, so my button is done. So we can see now here there are some overlapping of data that is happening because spinner I have placed, but I have not asked where exactly to be placed. Same way for the button. So by default it starts from the left hand corner. So there everything gets placed until and unless you have given the proper position. So I had given for the edit text that it has to come below of the text view. Similarly, I can give it for spinner to come below of an edit text box. So Android layout below, ID of my edit text 1, so it's my ET1. Similarly, I can give for my button Android layout below equal to @ID, and ID is my SP1. So it's below the spinner. So now you can see the movement has been happened. There's a text view. This is my edit text. This is my spinner, and this is my data which has been there. You can see this is sticking to each other one above the other, means exactly close by. I'll just show the running of the same. So you get to know how my design has come into picture. Is the Gradle is getting built. It will take a fraction of seconds for the Gradle to be built. Now what happens during the Gradle build? Our resources that are needed for this will get synced by itself. So once our resources are in place, it will accept all the, means it requires JDK, it requires SDK, it requires many of the other resources that are needed. Once it's done, it will find the targeted device to come online. So my target device is currently this. So it will try to figure out how to come that online, and now it is installing. So you can see this is the practical which I am trying to execute. It's already done because once I had executed to show how the page will be. So now this is load again. So my launching of my activity has been done, and you can see enter your name. That's my text view. This is my edit text which is highlighted over here. I can write, and my underline for my text, edit text can keep increasing. Since I had given it wrap content, so I have not written any edit data over there, any text on it. That's why my wrap content is the size of one alphabet. That's why the size is small. So I've given wrap content. If I give it match parent, the line will be full from the left hand side to the right hand side. Similarly is the spinner. This is a drop down list. Currently I have not given any name on it. That's why nothing is visible on it. Same as my button. I have given it as match parent. So my button is stretched, but there is no text on the button to be shown what exactly to be displayed onto it. So now we'll go and do the further enhancement in our GUI for the same. So I'm going on to my button first, and I'll write the text to be displayed on my button. Whatever is the name that I want to give, date picker and time picker. So you can see the text has come up over here. So I've written date picker and time picker over there. So this is now visible. To my edit text box, I have given txt1, and my edit text was 1 continuous. So I will just increase the width of it as match parent. So when I make it match parent, you can see my edit text has increased. Now you can see still there is a data which is just one next to each other. So I just want a little more space between each component of mine. So I'm just gonna give margin. So I'm gonna use Android layout underscore margin, layout underscore margin top. You can see layout margin top. It has asked how much value. So it's a numeric value that you have to give. So if I give like 30 dp, So you can see the edit text box has moved a bit of difference, and you can see there's a 30 space that has come up. So this does the work of giving us a space in between the content of our data. So similarly, I can try for my spinner too, if I need a space for my spinner so that it doesn't overlap. So I can enter Android layout underscore margin top, and I give it here also as 30 dp. So you can see here also it has moved. Same way I can give it for my button too. So it looks like neat and clean instead of overlapping on each other. Android layout margin top, and that's equal to 30 dp. So this is now set. So we will be running this just to see how. So this was the first look. Now we'll rerun this particular application to see how my data comes up now. So my task is getting executed. See the pop-up that's coming up. Alright, so now you can see the difference. The name is here. The text box is having the line fully till the entire width of the page. The spinner is there. As I said, it sometimes shows you and sometimes, and this is a date picker and the time picker that I've written on the button. So our GUI is ready. So now we are just going on to our Java file to write a Java code for this. By default, two import statements that comes in. That is for your app compat activity, and one is for your operating system bundles. So these are the two import statements which by default comes when you create a project in Android. Now I have used what all things in my code: text view, edit text, spinner, and a button. So I need to first initialize those things, whatever I have used. So I will come on to this start where I need to initialize my particular code, where I need to know what all I have placed. So I start with initializing private edit text, space edit text. Okay. So this is my pattern of initializing for my edit text that I have used edit text, which is in that form. So you must have noticed when I was typing, it said this got imported. So this is one of the feature of Android where you don't have to remember all your import statements. Like when you're writing a simple Java program, you need to know what are your import statements. Here there is a method where you are typing itself, it knows that it is not been imported. It will import by itself as per the requirements that you're writing. Or you have an option is if it's not getting imported, it will be highlighted red in color. You just need to keep your cursor over here, do Alt from your keyboard, Alt, without leaving the Alt, press enter, and it will get imported over here. That's also another method for it. So I have initialized my edit text. Now I need to initialize my spinner. So it goes all the same way. So it's private spinner, and my drop down will come up, and I need to give my spinner as it is. So my spinner is done. Then I am used button. So I'm initializing my button. This has to be capital. So now I have initialized my three of my component. Text view is actually like a label. So there is nothing actually you can pick up from the text view, but edit text, spinner, and button. Edit text is where you're going to write the data, so you can fetch that information. Spinner is where you have to create your drop down list where you'll have the values, so you can fill that value. And button is where you have to click. So these are the things that you need to initialize first. Once this is done, what all things you're going to use are going to be done over here. Now these all things are coming at the very start when your GUI loads onto your virtual device. That's why inside the onCreate mode, you have to initialize them to find their resources properly. Now this part of the text data says you are going to use this, which are in this format. Now here you are going to initialize them with the perspective saying that these are the exact text boxes or the spinner name that I have used. So I'm going to use now edit. So edit text equal to find view by ID. You can see it's popped it out. So R stands for the resources that are needed for it. ID is a specific ID that is allocated to it, and your edit text name. So you can see here ET1 has appeared. This ET1 is what I have given over here in my XML file. So I am connecting now my Java code to my XML connectivity. So here I need a semicolon. Each line of code inside your Java has to end with a semicolon. Now this line is talking about this edit text is equal to find view by ID. R stands for the resources. ID stands for the ID to be fetched, and my ID for edit text that I am using is currently ET1. Similar way I have to do for spinner as well as for my button. So it is going to be now spinner equal to find view by ID R dot ID dot. So you can see the SP1 has come. So that's for my spinner, and I put a semicolon. Same way I will have for button BTN1 and semicolon. So all my three resources have been synced now. Now, if I go from my GUI perspective, okay, text view is something that I cannot do anything. Whatever I have written, it will be visible as it is. Edit text got initialized. Now for the edit text, whatever value has to come, this will come only at the runtime. This will only come at the runtime. The next thing that is there is the spinner. Now for spinner, to get the values, we need to allocate spinner for the values for the spinner. So let's start writing for the spinner data. And as spinner getting initiated. So since my spinner is a drop down list, it is of string. So I need to give string with my square brackets items equal to. Now what is my data that I want to put in? So I can have any data that I can put in. Some random values I just put in item 1, comma, item 2, comma, item 3. That's it. Now why is this highlighted red? Because it has to be put inside a code. So all your string values goes inside the code with a comma separator in between, and it has to be ended with a semicolon. So I have set my strings as items equal to. Now this is an array. Since I am creating a string, the string will go in the form of an array because it's all inside one variable items, item 1, item 2, item 3. So this is the funda of arrays. So in Android Studio, we need to write an array adapter for the same. So I will write an array adapter. So you can see the prompt has come. I'll take the array adapter, and then what I have to pass in my array adapter, I need to pass the string value. So string adapter equal to new array adapter. Now I have initialized array adapter to the string values, and I've given it to the adapting section and new array adapter. Now what it has to do is whatever I click in my drop down list, that specific value has to come. So that's why this, whatever I click, that will come, and this will come from where? From my GUI. So for that reason, I need to give my layout over here. So Android dot r dot layout dot, you can see some things that have come up. You can find a spinner over here. So it is like simple underscore spinner. So it's a spinner drop down item. So this is what I am going to select, and in my drop down item, what do I want? This variable items. So I'm going to write items. So I have written string, and I've created an array name as items, in which I have passed item 1, 2, 3. I've created array adapter as string, in which I have passed the adapter new array adapter. Now what do I want my array adapter to take the value? Whichever I select from my drop down list. That's why I have initiated the context as this. And Android r.layout for simple spinner drop down item, it is the look of what you wanted. So it's just a simple spinner that I've created and I've set it as items. Now this is done. I have to set my adapter. So for that I need to write spinner dot set adapter. Spinner dot set adapter equal to the adapter value that I have initialized over here. Okay, so this is my spinner dot set adapter value. Once this is done, my spinner will be ready with the values to be fetched in. Now I need to write for my button too. This was done with the initialization. My spinner is done. Let's see after this process what will be the output of my code. Is my spinner getting the value that has been needed to be shown? Let's check. So my Gradle build is running. Okay, just a minute, because once it's running, I need to stop it. So it is always in the run mode. That's why it says terminate. So now I have terminated. It's installing. So let's wait for a few seconds. Yes, you can see on my drop down list, my items have come up. So item 1, item 2, item 3, whatever you select, my array is gonna fetch that and show it to my data set. That's why it was given as this. Whatever you give, that value will be fetched and displayed. So my spinner is set now for it. Now my spinner is done. So I initialize all my content. Now my spinner is ready. Then the next thing that I have to do is I need to click on the date time picker. So if I click on this, some action has to be performed. So since I've given it as a date and a time picker over there, date picker and a time picker, there are widgets inside Android for date and a time picker. I need to put that on it. But before that, I need to put a button having a click action. Though button already has the feature of the click action, but I need to initiate that click action. So for that, I need to again go into the Java and write the pattern for the same. So now my spinner work is done. So I will try to write now for my button. So since my button has to have a click action, I will just write here as a comment that I'm going to write about button. Now button has to have a set on click listener. Here we set the value for the adapter to take the value from the strings. So adapter was initialized the string value under the spinner, and that I called it over here. So now over here I have to give button dot set on click listener. So when I give on click, says button on click listener, set on click listener. So once you set that on click listener, it will tell you that you need to pass the value. So you need to write new. Once you write new, you can see the prompt that had come up. New, it comes view on click listener. So select the view on click listener, and on the on click listener, when you click, you can see a pattern has been created over, a format of data that has come that you need to have a method called as on click. I didn't have to create the method. Once I set it on click listener, my method structure popped out. So it's gonna override every time I do my click action and public void on click view and my data. So what exactly I want my view to come up with? So I want to show my date and the time picker. So show date, time, pick. Alright. So now I have given show date, time picker. It is saying cannot resolve method because you don't have this method. You have to create this method. Of course, if I am passing something on the click action, that method has to be existing. The show date time picker is not some method which is inbuilt inside Android. I just put it a name. Even if I put some random name, it will tell me create that method. So I need to create this method. So to create this method, I need to do Alt Shift plus Enter, or you click this. Alright, so my shortcut for this is not coming up. No worries. I can still create my method. So I just need to go Okay, over here I'll come and I'll start creating my method for the same, which is has to be in the private mode. So private void and the name that I have given, show date time picker. So you can see now it has my red color has disappeared. So my method is there. Now I have to create a instance. Now what I want exactly to happen in my show date time picker is it's one button. In that button itself, when I click the button, the date should pop up like a calendar view or any selector view. And when I click OK or something, the time should come up. So I have to have both the date picker and the time picker. So if I take you to the widget section where I have my palettes. So you can see there is a date picker. Okay, so I'm writing show date time picker now. And in that I have to initialize my initiations for the current date and time. So as you know, the system date and time both comes together and it's in a specific format. So I'm gonna initialize those things. So initially my date is something that's called as a calendar. So I'm using final as a keyword and I'm gonna write calendar. So you can see it has come as a calendar view. So I'm gonna take calendar and I'm gonna initialize my calendar. The same way how we did over here as private edit text box. Over here I am using final and I am initializing calendar over here equal to and I'm gonna write calendar get instance. You can see the first thing that has come up get instance. Why? At the instance of what you are in, that specific instance time it has to take into it. That's why. Now your calendar has your month, day of the month, hour of the day, minute because it's a date and a time picker. So you need to get all those values from the calendar itself. So you need to initialize each thing over here. So now those all are in integer value. So you're gonna write integer. So int year is equal to calendar dot get in the bracket calendar dot year. You can figure that out. It will be visible. Calendar dot year. So calendar dot year. So first it will show me the year calendar. And similarly, you need to do for your month int month is equal to calendar dot get in the bracket calendar dot year. So that's the first option that has come. Sorry, for the month it will be month and it's a semicolon. Now for your day of the month, I'll just start copy pasting the thing. So it's like day of the month, day of it's a day of month and day of month is like calendar dot day of the month. So it's day of month. The next is hour of the day. So you can have this int and it's hour of day and this will be hour of the day. And the next is minute. So it is going to be int minute and it's going to be minute. Okay, so now I have created my instance of my function or the method that you can call as. I've created my method as show date time picker and in that I have done the initializations of all. Now I have to initiate my date picker dialog. Now you can see over here inside my, over here I had taken a button and I have taken onto the click of the button the thing is initiated. So I am not actually placing a date picker and a time picker from the dialog box from the widgets directly, but I am creating my date and my time picker inside my system itself. So now, since my initiation of everything has been done, now I can set up my date picker dialog box. So I go here and I write date. I'm going to create a date over here. So date picker. So it is date picker dialog. Date picker dialog. And you're going to initialize that date picker dialog equal to new date picker dialog. You can see the prompt is already coming up, new date picker dialog, and you have the bracket. So where is it going to be created? Inside your main activity dot this comma your new date picker dialog on date set time listener. So on new date picker dialog on date set listener equal to this. Now you can see the override method that has come up and public void main and the things that have come up over here. Alright, so when we had written this, this is what has prompted. These are the errors that have come up. Now this will go away once you have set the things in proper place. So now I need to write. Right, so when I clicked on the date picker and I've set on the set listener, this is what it came up. Now we need to assign this specific to what we have declared up. So your date picker is going to come as a view format on your data set. So here I am going to change it as a view because it is going to come on your layout. So that is your view. You have initialized over your few things, which is not I1 and I2. It is year, month and date of the year. So year, month of the year, date of the month. This is what you need specific to be known. So you will be mentioning those things over here. So this will be int year. This will become int month of year. This will become int day of month. So this is what it's done. Now I need to keep on my data set. How is my value gonna come? So I need a string. So I'm gonna take string. In the string, I'm gonna have a date variable equal to, and I'm gonna pass how the array string has to be. So it has to be date colon this plus the day of month plus the concatenating operator. So the plus, then if I need a space, then I'm adding that plus. I'm going to write month of the year, month of, sorry, it's M small. So it's month of year as +1. Test, comma, year, month, day of month, as semicolon over here. And I'm gonna write date, picker dialog dot. Alright, so my date picker dialog has been shown where it is gonna take my date and a day of the month of the year, etc. And it's gonna print me the year, month, the day of the month, and this will be visible for me onto my screen. Now let's see what happens if I run this particular date. So now I click on my date picker. You can see date has come up. It's showing me a language in Hindi, but then my date has come up over here. So my calendar view is ready where it is showing my year, my month and my things. Alright, so we have written the string data. So string date is the array in which the date, day of month of the year and everything will be stored and it will be displaying onto the screen along with the year, month and day of the month. So let's see now when this is done, what exactly is the output that is going to come on our screen. I have changed it into the mobile view, just going on to the setting and changing it. So now you can see my page looks like this. So when I click on the date picker, because we wrote the code for the date picker dialog box. So now when I see my date picker, you can see the format that has come. So this was year, month and the day of the month. So that is what has come over here. Year, day, month, year, month and the date of the month that has come over here. And then it is telling the format which is there into it. So our data of calendar has come up. We have called the date picker dialog box to show that. And onto our date picker, we have the calendar view that's come along with the year, the month and the day of the month which is to be visible for us. Now let's move ahead doing the time picker thing. Now once your date picker is done, once you click on your date picker for OK, it should not disappear. It should move ahead to the time picker. So for that reason, I need to write the method for my time picker as well. So now I have to write for my time picker how I wrote for my date picker also. So I will have after the date picker, the time picker should pop up. So I'm going to write the method name over here as show time picker over here, how we had written over here date picker, and then the date picker method popped up, how we had written over here show date time picker. Then we had to initiate the date picker method. Same way I am going to write over here show time picker, because once I click the OK button, it has to go to the time section. So I'm going to write over here show time picker, and I'm going to give it with variable as date. So this is what I'm going to do as show time picker as date. And then I have to initiate the method. So it is over here that has come up. So let's continue with the method of writing final string as my date, because I passed the parameter over here as date. That's why I have to need to write a date over here. And then the pattern for the same. So as I had done over here final, calendar and int so and so hour of the day and the minute. This is what is needed for here. So I will just take this from here calendar, just copy paste it over here for my time, and then I need int hour of the day and the int minute. Just take it and I'll paste it over here. Okay, so this is done, hour of the day and the minute, that has been done, because here I have not used hour of the day and the minute. I've used here month and the day of the month. So that's what I have pulled down over here. So once this is done, now I am starting how I started for my date picker. I am starting for my time picker. So that's gonna be my time picker. So it's the same format of writing time picker dialog equal to new time picker dialog, main activity, this exactly the same that we have to write. Only thing is wherever is date, it will become time. And this specific date will become again a time, and this day of the month will be hour of the day. Month of the year will be changed to minute, but it won't be +1 because month of the year don't change, minute don't change with +1. So that's what is the changes that I'm going to do it. So I'm just going to quickly write it. So I have quickly written the method of time picker, exactly the same pattern how it was given. Now I have put time, hour of the day, and I have given show alert. Now this is the alert box that where I want my value to be printed. Okay, so this is inside one method itself. So I have show date time picker, inside which I am using my date and I am using my show time also. So once my date and my time is clicked, it will come on the alert with the date and the time with an enter space in. So for the alert to come into picture, I need to create a method. So when I click over here, Alt and enter, it is asking create a method show alert. So I click OK and it will create a method in my main activity. Inside my main activity, so you can see private void show alert string has come up. Now this S can be replaced with whatever that you want the message to be coming up with. So as of now, S has come up, so we can keep it as it is. Then I am moving ahead to write the method. So it is an alert dialog that I need. So I'll use alert dialog dot builder. So what does alert dialog dot builder does it? It creates a dialog box for me. So this is the builder that will help me create an alert dialog box for me. So alert dialog builder and this. So it will be creating a value inside my alert dialog box as this. So the context is done. Now builder dot set message. So I need to set a message. So my message is currently S. So inside that I need to set positive button equal to OK and comma as null. If the listener is not listening, then and then show method and a semicolon. Now this is coming inside the builder itself, so you don't need to mention any kind of data that has to come over here, and this completes your program. So now in your okay, so my code is done and it is set. So now let's run. So it will ask me to terminate again as it was already running. So Gradle build running is getting done, syncing. Right, so you can see your data has come up and your enter your name, your edit text box, your items and your date picker is there. So your text view is not going to change. Your edit text, you can add some values. So you can write your data over there and any items that you select, your date picker will fetch the date for you. You click on time, it will go to the show time. Set a specific thing, okay. And this is the alert window where your date along with your time has been pressed with the positive button as okay. So this is what is the entire demonstration of having all the combination of your text view, your edit text box, your spinner, your buttons along with your time picker and your date picker. Now one more thing to add on, you can see this is as PR file because I created the project with the name as PR file. But I do want on my screen it has to come as PR file or over here onto my icon that gets created to have the name as PR file. In fact, you can see like Facebook having Facebook name prerequisite. So I could have given a better name, but since I forgot to give a better name, okay, what I can do is I have an alternative method to change the name of this. So for this reason, I need to go to my resource file. That's my values. Inside my resources, I have values. I have string.xml file. If I open over here, it shows me string name app name is equal to PR file. So I can come over here and change my name as demo. If I just need to give it a name as a demo, and I run this. Okay, so you can see PR5 has been got replaced as demo, and similarly here also it has got changed to demo. You can even change this icon by going and setting the value over there. Now, how to change that I will show you in my next video, where I'll be coming up with image as a clickable button. So there I'll be showing you how you can change the icon of your particular thing. Instead of having this Android icon, you can have your own icon getting placed over there. So that's all in today's video, and I hope it's clear how to combine things and make it work under one roof. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day.